Okay, so now that you've gotten an idea of what I want to get across to you today, which is just info notation, just the idea of how to present your answers, I want to summarize what you've learned so far and practice a little bit at the end. So, yeah, let's go. All right, so now that you've watched those two videos, all right, and the reason why I show you those two videos is the guy could do a better job than I ever could presenting those ideas to you. Not that I couldn't, but I mean, look at all the graphics and that he's got. Okay, so all right, now let's summarize what we've learned so far. Then, okay. By the way, I just want to let you know, my teachers never taught me this. So I actually took me like a couple of days of like printing worksheets out and just practicing on my own and watching videos. Okay, so not that different than the way you're learning right now, right? Okay, so but you guys are fast learners, so I think we could do this in one lesson. So let's summarize for a second. If you see this less than symbol or greater than symbol, it means that you're gonna have to use the old parentheses, right? The old-fashioned parentheses, okay? So that's the first idea I want to get across to you. The second idea is that if you see a less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, that means we use brackets. Do you understand? Now, the way I memorized it when I first learned it was that if I see this bracket here and I see these lines down here, that reminds me of this, right? Likewise, right? If I go like this, that would remind me of that. All right, so that's the first thing I want to get across. Okay. Now, also, I don't know if he mentioned that in the video. I doubt it. Infinity cannot be reached. So one of the things that you have to understand is, if I were to tell you x is greater than 3, what that really is saying is that you start at 3. Now, I mean, let me graph it for you, right? So let's say we were to graph this. How would you graph that? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? At 3, so we got an open circle, arrow goes to the right, we go to the right. Now, how would you write this in interval notation, by the way? So he didn't mention this. Hold on, let me turn the lights on. So these are the 3 ways you could view this, okay? Let me see if I can just move this whole thing over here. The way he meant then is that there are 3 ways to look at something like this. The first way to look at it is this is an inequality notation. So there's 3 notations we're staring at here. This is the inequality notation. All right, and again, notation means how do you write something, right, in math. This is a graphical view, right? It's on the number line, right? This is a graphical view or notation of an inequality. The third one, the one that we're really trying to learn today, is called an interval notation. Now, these words, for the sake of practice, you would need to know because the directions are going to ask you for one thing or another. Okay, so how will we write that? Right? We would write that as, right now, it's a combination of these 2 views, actually, the way I think of it, right? So now, I have to start at 3, so this is what I always do, okay? And we're gonna get a lot more practice, so just try to understand what I'm doing. Now, I know that the smallest number, right, can be 3. It's not, by the way. It has to be bigger than 3, but I know it has to start at 3, right? Notice here, right, I was over 3. And then, notice how I'm going all the way to infinity, right? By the way, infinity symbol, right? That's how you write it. So I have to go all the way to infinity, all right? And now here's the trick, right? The question is, do I use a parenthesis or do I use a bracket? You see how this is open-ended, right? You see how there's no line here? Parentheses. Now, here's the thing I want to tell you. You can't have a bracket on infinity. That's a no-no. Why? Because you can't reach infinity, right? If you do that, you're saying that you're already at infinity, right, with the bracket, right? Because that would include infinity as an answer, right? So you can't do that, okay? Although I did reach infinity once, and then there was a light and a voice telling me that I have to go back and I can't stay there. So I came back. Okay, all right. That was a joke. All right, so that's how you would write it, right? Now, on the other hand, if I were to write this as x is less than 3, okay, this has turned into a lesson, right? You would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So today's lesson is going to be a little bit long, but that's okay. All right, this way, going left, right? So what does that mean? Now look, this is negative infinity, right? It's anything that's smaller than 3. So watch this. The biggest thing, so negative infinity is the smaller number, okay? And then 3's where the circle's at, right? That's open, that's also open. Okay, now there's a way you can graph these two also. So let me show you. If you want to graph this, you can also have a number line. And then you see how the 3 here has that open circle? All you have to do is replace the open circle with a parentheses like that. And then you draw the arrow. Okay, likewise, here you have, what is this? Yeah, same thing. Right, so you have the 3 like this going this way. Okay, all right, now let's talk compound inequalities, meaning something that we did last time over here. Okay, so let's come back to that. Now, here are some of the open and closed intervals, right, for compound inequalities. So for example, all right, let me check the time. Yeah, I'm losing a lot of time already. For example, right, if I got, let's see, so meaning like we don't have actually like an open line that goes to infinity or negative infinity, right? So let's say we got 3 is between, right? So x is greater than or equal to 3 and less than or equal to 5, let's just say. Right, now if we graph this, we'll get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, all right. Now let's say, right, we got 3 and 5. Now they're both inclusive, right? So I gotta circle, fill in the dots, right? Connect them like that. Now, how would you write this in interval notation, right? Look, so all I do is, look, watch this, 3 and the 5, and then I just look at these guys. Oh, I have to include it, so I use brackets. That's it. That's really all you need to know. And then like if this were, so watch this. If this were open, guess what? Guess what this would change into? Yeah, a parentheses. Okay, that's it. That's really all there is to it. All right. Now, if you, after practice today, if you still want to have some practice online with me, feel free to join our extra help session, okay? But these are the basics, okay? All right. Same thing with infinity, okay? I showed you that already. All right, again, remember, never put a bracket next to infinity, okay? You can't reach infinity. Okay, so likewise, if you want to take a look at this, all right, it's up to you whether you want to copy this or not. If you understand it, you understand it, and we're gonna have way more opportunities to practice. Okay, so yeah, all right. Now let's practice a little bit. Oh, by the way, so let me show you all 3 methods together, right? So the first one is the inequality itself, right? Inequality notation, what it looks like on the number line. And then the interval notation. Notice now, I mean, they're missing a second thing here, you know, but that's on purpose. Okay, all right, okay, all right, let's practice. I think the best way, by the way, so here's also a complete list. If you want to press pause and just read through it, it's up to you, okay? It's no big deal for me. All right, you don't need to memorize. It's like the point isn't to memorize it. All right, the point is just know when to use what. Okay, which I said earlier, right? There are only really three things that you need to know, right? So right here, the three things here. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right. So let me go back to this page. If you want to press pause right now, press pause right now. Otherwise, we're gonna move on. Okay, all right. Let's move on. Okay, all right, let's practice. So if this is the inequality, what would be the interval notation? Okay, now I erased it for a reason because I can unerase it. So, all right, so how would you write that? Think about it, right? It's between 3 and 5, right? So write the numbers down first, right? So let me give you a hand, right? So it's gonna be, you're gonna have 3 and 5 in there somewhere. The question is, are you gonna use parentheses or brackets? Okay, look at these guys, all right? Parentheses or brackets. Let me erase and review. Okay, that's it. Now, some of you might say, "Wait, like that's a coordinate." Not in this context. Okay, that's all I got to say about that. Okay, all right. Look at the second example. The second example, right? Again, you got 3 and a 5. The question is, again, right? Parentheses or brackets? Parentheses or brackets? Which one would it be? So write it down. All right, here's the great reveal. Here we go, okay, right? Doesn't not including the 3, so that's a parentheses, but includes the 5, so that's a bracket, okay? Lastly, all right, this one, all right, x is greater than 3, which I sort of showed you. I did show you that just now, right? So we got 3. We started with 3. Now, think about it, right? It's 3 and bigger, so it's from to 3, all right? It's going to sound like a Star Trek slogan, right? To infinity and beyond, right? So now the question is this: what are you going to use for the 3 parentheses or bracket, and what are you going to use for the infinity parentheses or bracket, right? So watch this, right? Since this is not inclusive of 3, you leave it as a parentheses. And what about the infinity? Yeah, parentheses. Remember, no bracket next to infinity. Okay, you cannot reach infinity. Okay, I have tried. All right, and I couldn't do it. All right, so, okay, let's move on then. Let's practice some more. Okay, after that, we're done. All right, tomorrow I need to show you a couple of different things. All right, so now here I'm giving you the graph, right? And I want you to write down the interval notation and inequality notation. Okay, so take a moment, all right? So actually, let's do one example together. Now, the first one, interval notation, right? So they want the new stuff, right, with the brackets and the parentheses. Now, look, let's count these numbers. 5, 4, 3, 2. So I know I got a 2 in there somewhere, and I got a 5, 6, 7, 8. I know I got an 8 there somewhere, right? Now, the question is, again, right, for interval notation, am I going to use a parentheses or bracket? What do you think? They're both inclusive. Yeah, okay. Now, what about the inequality? That's easy, right? It's just between 2 and 8. With an x in between, they're both inclusive, so less than or equal to. Okay, that's it. Now, let's see if we're right. Okay, and that's it. That's how you do it. So try the next 2. Actually, it's the next 3. And then I'll show you the answer key. Okay? Now, this one, that's an arrow. It's not an arrow because that's an arrow. So, okay, got it. All right, so the person's on purpose using these as parentheses. So think again, what does parentheses represent, right? Okay, all right. So write that down in the for the interval notation for A, and then for B, once you write that down, go ahead and try it for the inequality notation, okay? So I'm going to show you the answer right now. So watch this. All right, if you're not ready, just press pause. Okay, all right, here's the answer. Okay, right? They're both look, I mean, they even drew the parentheses for you. Of course, these are going to be parentheses, right? Now, I don't know why the person wrote this. This is not supposed to happen. The person made a mistake. Right, you see that? You're not supposed to have the line underneath because that would have been a bracket. Okay, so I guess even teachers make mistakes. All right, let me like white that out. Okay, all right, better. Now, 3, all right, look, it goes to infinity, right? Positive infinity and beyond. So you have to start counting, right? 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, right? So what would that look like, right? Open circle to positive infinity, right? Remember what I said about positive infinity? And then write that in inequality notation. So what would that look like right now, all right? Press pause if you're not ready, but I'm gonna show you the answer right now. Yep, okay. Oh, these are even numbers. Right, okay, 0, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, I made a mistake myself when I did this. Okay, -2, -4, -6, -8. That's right. Okay, and that's how you would write that. Okay, all right, lastly, we've got this. All right, -4, -3, -2. Okay, these are by ones. That's good. All right, so try that right now. Press pause if you need to. Otherwise, I'm going to show you the answer right now. Okay, all right, and that's how you write it, right? Open circles, exclusive, so that's parentheses. Okay, all right. Again, I'm going to give you a lot of practice on Delta Math, but if you don't feel confident enough, just go ahead and find me and oops, you're not supposed to see all that. All right, so go ahead, just find me and we can do some of these together, okay? All right. Are these the answer keys? Those are definitely the answer keys. Okay, all right. So now I'm changing it up on you again. I'm giving you the interval notation, draw it on the number line, and then use the inequality notation. Okay, so why don't you press pause, try these right now for 5 minutes. Okay, when you're done, I'm gonna just show you the answers. Okay, so press pause right now. Okay, all right, and here are the answers. All right. So, yep. Okay, I think that's all I'm gonna talk about today because I can't believe it. We're in 16 minutes, so you would have been watching like, oh my God, 28 minutes of videos. Okay, I feel bad now. All right, so okay, all right. Let me see if I need one of the videos. Okay, I'm gonna sign off here. All right, thanks a lot for watching, and have a good day. Bye bye.
OMG, that was so good.